I'm a collector, I would like to figure out. I would love to. I'm gonna do another build this next year. I've got one planned, or this year. But I would like to get a second and third place trophy. I would like to have all the colors. So, how do you aim for that? It's tough. How do you aim for second or third?
Welcome to Newtype Notebook. I'm Ricky, and you can find me on Instagram at Ricky_Glues. Dan, or DanzerDragoon, is a GBWC USA champion, founder of the WCGA Discord and WCGA podcast, and all-around great guy. And as much as he spends time building some amazing work, he's also dedicated to passing along our hobby to others through his community and through his podcast as well. Josh, aka cobraplamo, and I sat down and got to know Dan, breaking down his journey from his first kit, spoiler, it was big, all the way to being GBWC champion. And of course, we took a deep dive into his GBWC winning build, Welcome Home. I hope you enjoy. Where are you in Oregon?
I would say south of Portland. I'm in the Portland metro area. Yeah.
I took a motorcycle ride down there actually, sometime in the summer. And that was fun, but man, my ass hurt by the end of that ride.
What do you have?
I ride a Triumph. I took a Triumph that time. There was a big motorcycle show in the stockyards or something. I had some friends that I knew that were going down there, and I was last minute decision, if it doesn't rain, I'll go. And then I ended up going, but I got stuck in traffic all the way to Olympia. And that was just the roughest ride.
Man, I was going to say, I used to have a Harley and that thing kicked my butt. I hated riding it, but my friend had a Triumph and I loved it. It's just a totally different ride experience. His had a lot less power than mine did too, which was good. I don't like to have all that power between my legs. I like to feel like I could control a little bit more, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I liked his Triumph a lot.
You're a rider, man. That's awesome.
I used to be. And then I had kids. And now then I was like, okay, we got to sell this bike. I can't ride this thing anymore. I've seen too many people get hurt in ways that I just wasn't willing to do anymore. So, and the driving around here is not great for riding. To go on a good ride, you want a good open stretch, a lot of traffic and stuff. And for me, at least, it just wasn't clicking for me anymore. But yeah, I rode for a few years.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I've got two kids of my own. They're 2.5-year-old twins. Same. I got twins too. Oh, really?
They're 7. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
How are you doing?
I need to hit you up. I'm doing great. The boys have been very kind to me and my wife. I'll say.
Good.
So we're loving it. I mean, I tell people, I don't know if you agree, but having twins is harder than one, but I don't think it's twice as hard as one.
I agree.
If that makes sense.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a stigma
I think it's
around
harder.
Twins. You just not a stigma in a negative way, but just an idea people have, it's twice as much work. But really, you do 2 diaper changes at the same time, it takes you 30 extra seconds. You do 2 feedings at the same time, it takes you 30 extra seconds.
Right.
The great thing about twins is you got a packed in buddy for the kid, right?
Yeah.
The negative thing, as they get older, if one wants something, you have to buy 2 of it because they're both going to want it. So it's double everything, which with most, with kids in general, but it's really bad with twins. So
I gotcha. Yeah. There's no hand-me-downs in this case, right? Somebody gets something new, the other one's got to have it
hopefully, too. Do you have a friend that's got kids around that age? I mean, it's always nice to get a little infusion of toys or something like that. It helps out a lot.
Yeah. Doing some trading. Yeah. For sure. It's a good idea. Yeah. I think having 2 the old-fashioned way is harder. just now that we have some friends that have like,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, have a toddler and a
Yeah.
newborn, I'm like, ooh, that
Yeah.
sounds rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm 41, and we had our kids when I was like 35, and or 34 and a half or something like that. And there's no way I would be able to have the same mental or physical capacity to do it again. And I see my friends like having another kid. They've got like a 3 year separation between them, and I'm just like, oh man, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
twins. That's the way to do it.
All
Good
right.
job. I know that
Yeah.
was all you,
In
but good
families.
job. Yeah.
Anyway. Um, yeah. Well, Josh, how did you and Dan connect? How do you guys know each other?
Oh, um, so we actually first connected. I I don't know if we did any Instagram exchanges before then. Maybe a little, maybe a tad bit. Probably no. Okay, I'm not crazy. So we actually met through a common friend of ours, bless his heart, Lane Skyfire Riser over at Instagram. Go find him. Um, at the Redmond Hobby Town that was at what 2 years, a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
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 So I was meeting up with Lang, and he told me that he's got like, oh, I'm bringing a couple of my friends, and one of them's DanzerDragoon, and I was like, oh shoot, it's the guy Danzer. I've been following this dude. It's gonna be awesome. So we finally met up.
But
After being. Hmm?
but we didn't actually talk or meet at all there because I was
No.
scared of you. I had like the sorry to
No, you're good.
derail you,
Please
but I
interject.
had the celebrity. What is it? The feeling you get when you see somebody and you're like, oh, this guy, and you're just nervous. That was me. So I like didn't even approach you. So we didn't actually talk there, but I did see you. I was like, oh, that's him. All right, continue.
Yeah, I. Well, it's funny because like I remember seeing you at the IPMS show that same year
Mm.
briefly. Cause like I was like, all right, who's all these Oregon people that keep showing up? So like vaguely, so like when I saw you at Redmond, I was like, oh yeah, I recognize that dude. And it's like, oh, it's Danzer. And I was like, I think I remember I was like trying to like meet you, I think. And yeah, there was that kind of like vibe where like we're just kind of like, all right, we're getting the gauge at each other kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
we were doing like a size up from afar.
yeah, so
Well,
right.
really was it what? Really, it was just me being like I was just super nervous because like socially, like I don't like I love talking to people and stuff like that. But when it's someone like Cobra, not to butter his biscuits or anything, because I do have to keep him in check a little bit. But when it's somebody like Cobra who's pumping out like premium 10 out of 10 builds all the time, and I don't know, just wasn't the time to do it. I guess at that show is to like finally, or that thing to finally walk up and say, "Hey, buddy, be my friend."
I mean, I wouldn't
But yeah,
mind that. I mean, that's what those meetups are there for, right? Is to make connections and to meet new
yeah,
people. But I mean, after that, I think it was literally like a week or so, right? Where you, Dan, and Lane, you guys decided to form a new club. And
yeah.
because I had known Lane, and he was like, "Hey, we got this new Discord. You should come join it." And I went ahead and joined it. I think after like a week later in like a Discord call, they got like Monday nights. Shout out! Actually, Monday night as we're recording is the anniversary of the club. So if you're
Today,
not,
yeah.
yeah. So if you're not part of the WCGA podcast slash Discord server, you should join because we got a lot of cool stuff going on.
Well,
Shameless plug.
let's talk about yeah. Well, let's talk about WCJ because it's actually something that I was hoping that we could touch on today. So, um, Dan, for people who don't know, what is WCGA?
WCGA is West Coast Gunpla Alliance. Born from so me and Ian, my buddy Ian, super knowledgeable guy and super into collecting. Um, Very much into model kits and transformers. And then Lang, Skyfire Riser, huge personality. We were just like we need to create a club that is not just Oregon. not just our little part of Oregon, but like because we traveled to so many different shows, and we wanted like everybody like, hey, let's all hang out, let's all feed off of each other's creativity, let's all build together. So that's all it was. It was just the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California. We were like, let's just start up a Discord. We started it up. We invited all our friends into it. Um, Cobra hopped in very, very quickly, which was like, okay, this is a real thing when Cobra hopped in. And then, and yeah, it's been growing really fast. We're like 263 members in a year, which is crazy. And then our Monday night hangouts, we get like on average about 15, 16 people all hanging out building, which is a lot for a Discord server. They have a cap of 25, and we've broken that multiple times and had to try to like figure out like, okay, what do we do with all these people? Where do we put them and things like that. But yeah, that's what it was. It was really just like the competition scene was the catalyst, and then it was more, and then it just became more of like, let's just make this like a big community where we can all get together, share, hang out, have fun, get stupid, do dumb things. Because modeling, like when you build really nice models and you put them up and they look pretty and everything, that's like a very small part for me of the hobby. The other 90% is like meeting people, hanging out, and then like just leeching off of their creativity and just yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think I joined maybe a few months ago.
Hmm.
And I gotta say sort of community feel in that Discord is really awesome. Like I
Oh,
think
thanks.
I've been on a few others where it's kind of like, yeah, people show off their things and there might be like two or three like core people who are doing like the massive amount of posting or the
Mm,
majority of the posting. But here it does feel like um there's just like a lot of great engagement. There's just good vibes all around, and it is an
yeah,
awesome Discord to join. Yeah.
it's all the people. It's all the people. It's not anything that like that the mods are doing. Uh, I mean, we obviously we do a lot for the club, but the people are the source of that community that you're talking about. There, people are engaging, people are active, posting. They're looking for help. They're looking for you know ideas. They're giving ideas. So yeah, definitely that's really cool that that's the vibe you're getting from it, because that's one of the things that we're really excited about.
Yeah, no, it's a great culture, and I mean, you've got some incredible builders to boot that are
Yeah,
sharing their work, um, and you guys have a podcast too. Do you
yeah.
want to talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
We before we even did the club, we wanted to do a podcast. We were like, we want to talk more about the hobby, of course. So yeah, we started up the podcast, WCGA podcast. We're on episode 37, I think now, and it's been super fun. You know, you sit down with your best friends and you talk shop. It's really that's what it's mostly. It's very rare that we actually go into a podcast and have an idea of what we're gonna do. Yeah, we just, it's like when you listen to our podcast, that is us hanging out. Like generally what it's like when we hang out. Yeah. Nothing is edited either, except for the occasional F bomb or something like that that gets in there.
yeah, it is a lot of fun, and I think the thing that I appreciate the most about the pod is that y'all show off the work that people are posting in the Discord. I think that's
Oh
so
yeah.
cool. I one of my favorite things that happened this year actually was I had my Nightingale that I posted as like a sort of introductory, like here's a build that I did when I signed up for the court, and then you guys had Ryan Lau, the Canadian second place world champion,
Yeah.
GBWC winner on as a guest that episode. I had no idea, and just like seeing you guys and seeing him like just see my work was already like
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah. He's such a
So that's really cool.
yeah, Ryan Lau's such a cool guy. Like I've hung out with him a couple of times now, 3 or 4 times now, and he is one of those people in the community that is just like peak person, like one of the best people I've ever met. So yeah.
Yeah, and Josh, you've been on the pod a few times too, right?
I've been on, I think, like a couple, like 2 to 3 times
Mhm.
on the pod. Yeah, as one was a guest, and then somehow, some way, they
You were on the
reluctantly
Halloween
got me.
episode too.
Yeah, I was in the Halloween. Yeah,
Yeah.
which was kind of fun because like we were sitting there. If you watched the episode where it was me, Dan, and Ian, and we're
Yeah.
looking at our notes, and as we're about to record, I don't know who was it that said it, but they're like, Lane wants us to be in costume for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
episode. So I was like, all right, well, I already got a costume lined up because I was actually going to a costume party that night. So I was like, all right, well, let me just go grab it real quick. And that's the costume choice why I chose mine because I already had it laid out. So I was like, well, might as well. And
Yeah.
of course, Dan, being Dan, his definitely matched his personality for that podcast. So
Captain Underpants.
yeah.
My kids like that. They make me put it on all the time and chase them around the house. They just really dig Captain.
Given that the costume that it is, do you or your kids find the temptation to take one of those smelling sprays and feed it into your oxygen
Man,
supply?
I've seen videos of that. I've seen videos of people doing that, putting a little fart spray. That would be
Yeah.
brutal because I
Yeah.
can't get that thing off very fast. I might die if
Yeah.
someone did. I might die. Yeah, because it's all encompassing in there. Anything that happens inside the suit stays inside the suit. When you're in there for like an hour or like 2 hours, that was a difficult podcast for me, oxygen wise. I had Taco Bell
Well,
the night before.
yeah,
So.
especially if you're smelling your own Taco Bell farts, right? Inside that suit the whole time.
Yeah, it's funny in the club. I'm less known, I think, for my builds than I am for my dietary choices, or at least that's what I get roasted on the most. Always loving roasts, but yeah, I do have a
Love it.
for Taco Bell.
Well, it's either that or your ability to just willingly dump something in acid, or just have that melt.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my favorite pastimes. Putting model kits into acetone. It's a really interesting way to transform plastic, and yeah, it's always interesting. People come up with ideas like, "Hey, let's put a Lego guy in there. Let's put a Haro in there." Yeah, I just
Is
look
that
at
like
it
a
like
recurring segment?
I'm like super serious right now about it, but in reality, like Monday nights, like someone will just say something, and I'm just sitting there like, "Man, I have acetone right now. I have this thing right now. Let's just see what happens." So we've melted
Yeah.
3 things.
Dan's just like that child where if he hears an idea that's so dumb but it's so great, he's going to act on it if he has the
Yes,
ability to do it.
yes,
Yeah.
that's life. That's living, baby.
There's a GBWC build in there somewhere where like you're just dripping acetone on a kit and we'll
Oh,
just
I've
watch it
thought about
evolve.
that. I thought about that. So one of the years I've thought about this. I haven't talked about it yet. One of the years I'm going to do a GBWC build. I'm going to do my quote unquote masterpiece build, whatever. But have you heard about the Banksy thing where he shredded it like at the
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. At the auction.
I'm gonna build in some kind of like apparatus, mechanical apparatus that deploys acetone vapor inside of a chamber and melts the thing like on stage or whatever in front of people.
I love it.
That'll be my piece
No.
de resistance.
Yeah, we got to push the limits of the hobby here.
Right.
Yeah, it's creative. It's formative.
Does any of your personal history inform how you build your models? Like, do you have like an art background? Are you a pro at anything that connects to modeling or gunpla or art?
So, I mean, going way back, my dad and I used to build model car kits when I was like in grade school. And then I didn't touch a model until I started this hobby, 30 plus years later. So I am a established woodworker. I've done a lot of woodwork and not like building crates or things like that, but like fine detail inlays and things like that. So I do have a penchant for like working with my hands and detail and stuff like that. I find working with my hands incredibly uh, peaceful, and I get into a Zen state. So I mean that definitely helps. But honestly, what got me really into it is I'm a big fan of Adam Savage, and he did that Perfect Grade Unleashed build, and I swear to God that was like an ad for Bandai. Bandai needs to pay that man some money. And maybe they did, I don't know. But that got me into the hobby
Right.
big time. I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like so much fun. Oh my gosh, it costs $300. I'm never going to get this. I told Jackie about it, my wife, and she bought it for me for Christmas. And then it was like,
Wow.
that was my first build I ever did was the PGU. And it was like hook, line, and sinker. After that, everything, like all my hobby time was just devoted to building model kits. I was really into like video games and movies and stuff, but now it's like 90% model kits and 10% video games now. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as like the things
Okay.
that inform it. Yeah.
So you only bought like the most advanced, most like
Yeah.
largest model kit that
At the
ever
time.
existed at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's the way to, I guess that's the way to dive in. And I mean, a lot of people are scared to do a perfect grade or a master grade if all they've done is high grades, but honestly, the parts are bigger. The instructions are just as simple or advanced as some advanced high grades. But with perfect grades, especially the newer ones, they go together so easily. A lot of them are undergated. So if you're nervous about jumping in, anyone who's listening to a perfect grade, just get one, and you will have a lot of fun. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So you really got started doing the modeling first. Do you watch the anime, or are you interested in like the the different series and anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've watched all of them now at this point. Um, but I wasn't really watching the show just like, oh, cool robot. I want to build this robot next, that robot next. And then I started getting into the show like, oh, I can watch this while I'm building. So I mostly only watch ones that have the dub, not the sub, because I can't watch and build at the same time. But yeah, it was more model kit first than anime. My favorite anime or Gundam anime of all time is definitely Zeta Gundam. I don't know why that one just hits me right in the heart.
Pretty peak.
Emma, she was my fave.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah,
And you've been doing this for how many years now? Or when did you buy that PGU? It wasn't
it
out
was
that
when it
long
was
ago, I feel like.
released, 2022, I think. It's been I think 3 years. Yeah, on my 3 year anniversary of the hobby.
Wow. And did you snap build that one, or were you like, let's just like paint, or like what are how did your skills develop from there?
So I just dove right in. I panel lined, water decaled. I bought third party water decals for it because it comes with stickers. And then I top coated it, and that was it. But a kit like that, you don't have to do much to it. And I was so stinking proud of that thing, man. But I like the funny thing is like I didn't know anything about photography, videography, um, lighting, so like posing, any of that stuff. So like my first pictures of that kit are it's like basically just standing straight, and I was so proud. I was like, this is so cool. Look at my cool robot I built. Um, but yeah, so that's really funny. I think back on those early builds. It's like I just didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I think I did a good job on it, and it turned out really nice and everything. But as far as like the post production, right? Like us as modelers, like you do the build, and then you do your photos and your posing, and you get the angles right and everything. Like I didn't know any of that stuff, so I posted it to Reddit. I was like, "Look at my PGU! I did the thing!" But yeah, it was really exciting.
I still don't know about any of that stuff, so I'm with you on that.
It's just, I mean, it depends like in the hobby. That's one of the cool things about this hobby is like you can take it from so many angles. Some people just want to snap build. Some people just want to paint. Some people just want to um, do the videography or the photos. Like that's what they really anchor on. Or some people do all of the things, or you start dabbling, you start growing, you start doing different stuff. That's one of the really cool things about this hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. You can really approach it like from so many different angles.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you're snap building and just posing, there's like all kinds of great people who like just love to do those things, and it always looks great. And I'm always inspired by the posing thing too, and the photography, and
I
those are the
will
things that
say,
I yeah.
I will say, if you're listening and you haven't top coated a kit yet, top coat a kit. Get some Tamiya top coat, put some top coat on there. It's going to just elevate the thing up to like the next level. And that might be what pushes you into, oh, I should try this, I should try that. But yeah, top coating, it's a big part of it.
That's a good tip. It's like the last thing that most of us do
Yeah.
in terms of building a kit, but actually is really impactful for sure.
Well, even if you're just not building a kit, right?
Yeah.
Like if you just do like either Tamiya or Mr. Hobby top coat flat, it's literally night and day where you just turn that plastic goodness into something that feels a little bit more realistic. So, which was something that I did, early hobby times, did the whole flat coat thing. It's like, oh, I love this. I'm going to keep doing it. And it just kind of became that gateway drug to doing other stuff. So it works.
Yeah,
for sure. That was my first Gundam kit too. I had I had an RG Grandpa, the 1.0, and I was using like the Tamiya spray cans because I was also doing cars at the time. I started with cars, and I thought, let's pick up Gundams. And I was like painting all the blue pieces blue, like no primer, just dumping paint all over the place. And I'm like, it looks the same. Like, why am I even painting this blue piece like this exact same color? And then I just snapped it together and I thought, let's just try the top coat. And the top coat really did make like all the difference.
Yeah,
so yeah, that's a great piece of advice for anybody.
What's your go-to? Do you like gloss or do you like flat? Or is it situational?
So yeah, I am a fan of the aqueous semi-gloss. So that's been kind of the primary one that I've been using. International Model Toys and Tom, who owns the shop.
Yep.
Yeah. So like he put me on the aqueous. I don't know if it's just because he was out of stock for everything else and he was just trying to move it, or he really believes in it. But he was like, yeah, try the aqueous line. It sprays really smoothly.
Yeah.
And you can kind of mix like a ratio to what you like, right? So some kits I'll do like 50-50 semi-gloss and flat. Because the flat, if you just do 100% flat, is like really flat. It's like really chalky, and I wasn't a big fan. But sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes I'll just do semi-gloss like as it is. The last thing that I built, I tried GGX flat.
Oh, okay.
And I liked it. It sprayed well. It was just like a little bit flatter than I use paint that's pretty matte, and it just kind of looks almost like the same as the standard like paint finish, which I kind of like too. So yeah.
Aqueous is the first line of paint that I got that actually worked well for me. I started on Vallejo and I had nothing but trouble with it. And then I tried out I was listening to Barbados Rex. Is that right? On YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He reviews basically any type of paint ever made. And he was trying out the aqueous stuff. And I was like, oh man, okay. That was the first paint I used that laid down really nice and made me think, I can do this. I can paint. Yeah, aqueous is good stuff.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so we talked about your first kit, and fast forward a couple of years, and you win GBWC 12 of gold for the United States.
Yeah,
that was your reigning champ up until only like a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
So talk about like your journey, like building your skills. What are the things that you hang your hat on when you're building a model kit? What are the skills that you're most proud of or you think pop the most?
That's a tough question. It's really hard for me generally to talk about the things that I'm good at. I usually just kind of let my work speak for itself, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But like, I think if I was to say things I'm good at, I'm creative with LED deployment, I think. I enjoy the process of shading. I enjoy creating depth in a piece of flat plastic. And I think I'm good at decal. It's hard to say things I'm good at. You can look at my stuff and you can decide if it's good or not. But yeah, as far as like honing my skills, like I mean, I just always every build I do, I try to push it I try to add something new to it. I'm trying to do something different. Every time I start a new build, it's going to have something in it that the previous build didn't have, and I think that's generally pretty common for any builder that customizes like we do. Uh, but like leading up to the GBWC, that particular build was rattling around in my brain for about a year before I finally took the kits out and started messing around with them and getting them set up. But in my mind, I had envisioned exactly what it was going to look like. The funny thing about that build is I couldn't get anyone to understand what it was going to look like. I would drop pictures from my wife. I would drop pictures from my friends and be like, yeah, it's going to do this and it's going to be coming through the water. And they're like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Um, and it wasn't even until, like I was sending pictures to Ian and Lang, privately at like my whips as I was going through. And even after I got them in the resin, they were still like, I don't quite get it. So that was a really interesting experience of like trying to take the thing that was in my brain and put it out into the real world, which is one of the best things about the creative process, I think. Um, it was a really interesting experience going from that to what you ended up seeing in Japan. Um,
So, but it's good to hear that, or it's interesting to hear that you kind of had a vision for it in mind before you started, um,
yeah,
and that you've been just kind of mulling over it. And
yeah.
what did you feel like it was? Did the concept come to you like in a flash, and it just took time for you to think about like how am I going to execute this? Or you just like didn't have the time, or what was that year of like sort of ideation look like?
So I had participated in GBWC two times before. My first year was like a very simple dio with a build on it. The second year, I really pushed it with a NASA. It was a NASA themed Psycho Zaku, and then this one, I was driving home from a build meet, and it just popped into my head like, oh man, a Gundam walking through water. Because I had seen some resin stuff done in the GBWC before from other countries, and they did some amazing resin work. And I thought, what can I do like that's just that would be like a wow factor? And one of the things that I do is I like my idea, whatever the idea is, the finished product in my head. That's what I'm gonna do, and I have to fill in. I fill in the blanks as I go. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but that is the thing that I'm going to try to do. And I've been lucky in that everything that I've thought of so far, I've been able to do. I haven't destroyed anything yet in the process. I've come really close. The GBWC build almost got destroyed, and that one that I did with the Macross one with the missile circus, that one literally almost melted on stream on a Monday night, because I was putting too much voltage through the LEDs. Like it was like literally
Yeah, I
melting.
remember that
And
you were.
yeah.
It was
Well, and
just like,
it's funny,
oh.
like I just kind of went with it. I was like, oh guys, look, and I took the camera, I positioned. I was like, look, guys, it's smoking.
It's like,
So
oh, what do I do with this? It's like it's melted. Oh, and you were all it was melting through the some of the parts, wasn't it, on the actual
oh
kit?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, yeah. So I had to redo some of that, but yeah, I mean, for
This
me, it's more like I'm gonna, I have the idea. I'm gonna do that thing. I buy the kits for it, and then as I go, I'm figuring out, okay, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? Yeah,
this might be a good time to check out some photos of it.
yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
So for people who are on Spotify or don't have video in front of them, can you just describe the kit and what we're seeing?
Yeah, so there's two Zagoks, two master grade Zagoks in here. Both are fully painted and customized inside and out with LEDs. Um, one of them is completely submerged in a block of resin. The other one is walking halfway through it, kind of like a portal of water, into a hangar bay where there's some guys that are like guiding him in, and Char's sitting up here on a little armature thing, checking him out. Um, that's the gist of it. And then the outside of the block of resin, I created a cage of plastic with some just some little random details and things like that. And then there's a little name plaque on the front which says what the build is. But yeah, LEDs throughout the entire thing. So there's LEDs inside the resin at the top and the rafters. There's LEDs inside the kit. LEDs in the bottom, like running lights, so they're animated. And then spotlight LEDs that cast light up onto the build itself.
I definitely admired the incredible work. Just to think that not only did you submerge two model kits in resin, but you also got LED work going into that too. And it makes me wonder that are you using all those LEDs to add a brilliant spark back into your life, or did you just genuinely lose your way in the dark and need a tiny illuminated trail to find your model building at your desk?
This is an inside joke, I think. Have you just roasted me? Yeah. So when I do a big build, I always want to include LEDs in it. It's just it's my gimmick, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my calls, like, what do you call it? My calling card, LED work. I just love it. I love casting light or creating light in a stationary object with no cords, no wires. It's just there projecting its own light. I feel like that's, for me, one of the things that I guess sets my builds apart. But I just enjoy doing it so much. I love creating that light effect within a model kit. And this, I talked about it so at the GBWC announcement in Orlando. It was very, very fast. I talked about it very briefly. The resin got to a temperature that was very close to the melting point of the solder. So it was, and I didn't know it was going to do that. I did a lot of research, but I didn't know it was going to get that hot. So it almost ruined the whole thing. And it was fully built like this, except for the armatures on the front. It was fully built, and it was poured into a mold made out of MDF and packing tape, so it can pop off easily. But if anything went wrong during that, once the resin hits the kit, that's it. You can't take
You
it
only got
off.
one shot.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
one
the
shot.
wiring was all finished up. It was all tested and working and everything. Everything was soldered together. All the shrink tubing, everything, the drilling, it was fully done. And when the resin hits it, like, you just gotta hold on for dear life. I actually ran out of resin halfway through the pour. I was like, I'm not going to make it. So I had to book it all the way to the local Hobby Lobby and buy another gallon of resin. So it came out to about 2 gallons of resin because of shrinkage. And then start pouring again. Luckily, one of the lucky things was that it was so hot that it hadn't set yet. So yeah, there was a lot of factors. Like, it was luck. I would say 50% luck, 50% planning at that stage. But yeah.
Is this the first time you've used resin in a build?
Yes. Yeah. That was the first time. I will say I love the medium. It's super cool. And the stuff that like I said, I've seen other countries do is just incredible. So, mine being a solid block. And then I did use a syringe. I would put the syringe in as it was curing and put some bubbles in where I could. And there was a little bit of time to position things while it was still setting. But yeah, my first time working with resin. I'll do it again for sure. It's just probably not something like this. Yeah.
I think I had the pleasure of seeing this kit and the Psychozaku that you talked about earlier at Model Mania. It had to have been the last year. And I think the thing that I appreciate the most was the LED work that you were talking about is like very tasteful. It's not over the top. I think sometimes like LEDs, people want to just go for like maximum brightness
Mm.
or just like a lot of LEDs and in both of those builds, it just felt like the right amount of light. Yeah, and then in this one, like there's the you even have like a trail of like welders or something like that.
Yeah,
That
they
was
have
happening.
cabling that goes back to the power supply. In my brain, that's how I did it. It was like That's how I did the lights. So this is the Psychozaku and the NASA frame. Like it's preparing for launch. They were still working on it. And the welders have a flickering animation built into the circuit board, so they flicker and flash, make it look like they're welding. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's perfect because like you've got this, the LEDs have to be on a wire already,
Yeah.
but for that wire and the lighting to be a part of the diorama, like part of the world that you're
Mm.
building, is really awesome. Um, yeah. So going back to your GBWC build and the resin, for people who have never worked with resin before, are there like different types of resin? Like one of the things that was really cool about this build is that there is like a little, it's not crystal clear, right?
Right.
And I think it works because you're imagining this like they're like under the ocean or something, and like ocean water is not clear. Like,
Mhm.
is that a property that you can manipulate in resin?
Yeah.
Was it something that you, yeah, focused on?
Yeah. So this is tinted. I tinted it with blue and green dyes, and then you mix it, mix it, mix it, get as much of the bubbles out as you can, and then you pour it. So you can definitely make it more or less opaque depending on your application, what you're wanting to do with it. But there's different types of resin. Mostly, it comes down to its curing temperature. Uh, you have fast cure resin, which gets really, really hot, and then you have slow cure resin that doesn't get as hot. But I would say if you want to work with large quantity of resin, definitely make sure you're doing it in a place that has the ability to cool it. So like have your fans blowing on it, because the slower you can make that resin cure, the more time you have to work with it. If you're working with like a small dio where there's like a river or something like that, you don't really have to worry about that stuff. But yeah, as far as the
Right.
opaqueness, you can definitely adjust that.
Oh, that's really cool. Other than that, so you talked about the LEDs, you talked about the resin pour. Are there any other kind of areas of focus in this build that were important to you when you started?
Yeah, so before I put the final touches on it, I this shimmering effect on the front wasn't a part of it. It wasn't something that I had even thought about. So what I decided is that there wasn't enough motion, and there wasn't enough presence of motion of it walking through the water. It was literally just a flat sheet of water. And I had worked before with some Vallejo water wave ripple effects. It's like a white paste, and then it dries clear. Um, and I thought, I tested it out on a spoon to see if I could create what I was looking for, and it worked great. And I was like, okay, here we go again. So like you start applying that stuff, and you can't get it off. But yeah, what it ended up doing, kind of inadvertently, I hadn't thought about this, was that it created this specular kind of shattering of the light and scattering of the light, to the point where it was even wrapping around the model itself too. So when you get up close to it and you see it in person, you can see the green lights or the red lights kind of wrap around, because it's catching, because all the different ripples are catching the light and refracting it. So that's one of my favorite things about this particular build with how it turned out, was just that front shot. Obviously, that's the money shot, the front shot, but also the way that the lights that are included on the build capture that movement and the motion of the water.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the spotlights at the front really like help that
Yeah.
sparkle at the begin up at the front of it too. Um,
I was just going to say, one of the bummers about this build is that it really is reliant on ambient lighting. So when I went to Japan, you put it inside of a case, and the case is like bright white lights, and it just washes out everything. So even if you do
mm,
LED at the GBWC, and this is something to think about, like it washes them out completely. So what I did was I actually went in and I unscrewed three out of the four light bulbs in there. I just like unscrewed them so that my case was dimmer, but then my lights showed up nicer. Um, but that's one of the and the other thing too, I don't build, like when I build things, I don't think about transport to shows. I don't know if anybody does, but I definitely do not. One of the great things is that this setup took me 5 minutes to set my build up, and all the other builders there were in there for like an hour setting up their builds. So I got a chance after I set my build up. I'm just walking around talking and like watching people set up their builds and stuff. But one of the things I noticed immediately was that all those other GBWC builders utilized the space of the case to the maximum. They were all fully encompassing, either height wise or width or all, every cubic inch of that case. And mine, I didn't build it for that. I built it for what I wanted to do. So it looked minuscule in comparison to some of these other giant grandiose builds that just like filled up the entire case. So definitely in the future, when a competition says it has to be within these dimensions, fill those dimensions, like fill it up, because I think that really helps a lot with not only with the constraints that you have as a builder, like can I add this on there? Yes, you can if it fits within there. But also the judges, when they're looking at it, they have more stuff to look at and oogle over. So yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to
And
interject
then
that.
there's like the presence of
Yeah,
the build as well.
yeah,
Were there any other you built this kit with GBWC in mind, right?
yeah.
And were there any other considerations for GBWC like that you knew you wanted to focus on?
I mean, I knew the rules. The the rules are pretty black and white with GBWC. For me, like the way I look at it is use Bandai stuff, only
Mhm.
Bandai stuff. The end, and don't even try to skirt those rules. So, I mean, I knew I was going to do a build. I knew this thing was going to be a real pain in the butt to try to get the resin to work on it and everything. But other than that, no, it was just like, what did I? And I stress this a lot in the podcast too. When you're building or creating or doing anything like this that you have personal emotional stake in, like build it for yourself first, and then for the competition second. So while staying within the guidelines and the rules that Bandai has, just do what you feel is going to be your best foot forward. Because at the end of the day, the chances or odds of placing in the United States and or going to Japan are very, very small. The fact that I went is crazy. Okay. Uh, at the end of the day, you have to be happy. You should be happy with the work that you put out. So
Yeah, that's great advice. Can we talk about the Zagox
yeah,
specifically? So obviously they're water mobile suits or they're aquatic mobile suits. Was that kind of the main reason for choosing that as your subject?
yeah, definitely. I love the Zagok. I just think it looks mean. It looks menacing. And I thought walking through the water dripping off of it, just the mono eye, the the evil, menacing, scary crab-like nature of it, it would just look really sick coming through the water. So it was the Gok all day. And master grade aquatic suits, I think, are a little limited. And at the time, the Act guy was like impossible to find. It's still kind of hard to find, but I
Mm.
yeah, I think also for the frame that I was doing. So part of what informed part of this build was I wanted to use a, a, a framework that Bandai made, which is this 160 frame, uh, or I don't know what you would call it, like uh, Armor Bay or whatever. They sell these kits mostly in Japan. You can buy them here on eBay, but um, I knew that I could only span so much distance with these pieces, so I wanted to do master grades, and master grades would fit within that framework better. So turned out to be the Zagok.
Gotcha. And what kind of work went into the mobile suits themselves? They're painted, obviously, but like,
Yeah,
was there scribing? Was there modifications?
yeah. So the funny thing is that like I knew so there's a couple of interesting things. I knew the resin was going to get very hot, so I knew there was going to be most likely some plastic expansion within the resin cube. So I pre-cut parts of the armor where I wanted it to separate, so it would allow for that separation. Kind of like when you're baking a pie and you cut vent holes in it. You don't want the pie to explode, so you cut vent holes so that that's where the heat is going to escape from. So there was some modifications done there that are just engineering wise. But as far as like they're fully panel lined and decaled and um, pre-shaded, post-shaded, internal, external. Like I built them just like I would build like a regular model kit, and then I dumped resin all over it. You can't see most of that, but if you get in really close, then you can see. Oh, this is pre-shaded. Oh, this is good decal work. Oh, this is all fully painted. The inner frames, metallics and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah. And
it
then there's
was,
some LEDs in there too, right?
and the LED work, which was pretty simple LED work. I occasionally will use these things called filament LEDs with like noodles. And you can wrap those inside of armor pieces and wire them up pretty simply. So yeah, and then put little spotlights in the claws. I think I'll do that again, most likely if I do another Zagok. I put some spotlights in the claws so they cast some light out too, like they're kind of seeing their way through the water. But yeah, so they're fully kitted out model kits, customized and everything within that block of resin.
So, Josh, you got any like favorite little details or favorite parts of this build?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I think that some people would really appreciate is just the feeling of scale, especially with having the little, the engineers, they're like in the piece too, and just kind of giving that depth of scale. It's always nice to kind of put something in there and give, because I think with your average viewer, especially for someone that's not very familiar with, say, Gundam and Mecha, they kind of don't have the ability to really understand like just how big these things are supposed to be. So when you integrate things like people to scale into a piece like this, it kind of definitely shows like just the magnitude of what the whole vision is supposed to be encompassed with. I do really like the guy that has the two little lights guiding in the mobile suits. It's a pretty
That was Ian's
nice.
idea.
That's well, good job for Ian. So with that, is that just really thin wire that's then connected to those LEDs? Because it doesn't
Yeah,
even look like there's any wires or anything there.
it's so I drilled holes through the little tiny guy and then ran the wires through him and then into the base, which is tricky. But you can use those are called I think they're called pico nano lights. They're very tiny, like the size of a pencil lead is the actual light, and then the wiring that comes off of it is as thin as your hair. So you can get those lights pretty much anywhere, like
Awesome.
into a model kit. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I love seeing a sense of scale too for that same reason that Josh said. Like, if you're not familiar with the anime or Gundam in general, you could think that these are like human sized for all we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you put a little person in there or something that we can reference to in real life, it just makes everything feel so much bigger and more imposing and for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, so what were your expectations for your entry? Like, and you talked about building it for yourself. What was it like hearing or seeing your build be, the gold winner?
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought to myself, based on what I had seen done in the United States previous years, I thought this has a chance of placing. But I think I have a thick skin when it comes to competition. Um, I go into every competition thinking I'm not going to win anything, uh, and I've like ground that into my brain so much so now that when I go to a competition and I win something, I'm like surprised by it. So submitting for this, there was Bandai's Bandai's still figuring things out in the U.S. I don't want to crap on them too much or anything, but there's a lot of problems with the way they run the GBWC in the United States. And that particular year, I think was maybe the first year where they really went gung ho on the online side of things of submissions. So took my pictures, submitted them. I told Jackie, I was like, I think this has a chance to at least place. Like if I can get third place, that would be crazy amazing. Uh, and then after you submit in the United States, you wait like a month, 2 months, and then the year that I did it, they sent an email out. And I remember I was at the gas station pumping gas, and the kids are in the car, and Jackie's in the car. We were going to a trampoline park, and I checked my phone because I'm checking my email all the time for the Bandai just to see what happened. And bam, there it was. It was something like along the lines of like, we're really happy to let you know that you won first place in the United States, and here's your representative that you're going to talk to about flight information, and can you come to Orlando? I'm paraphrasing it, but yeah, that was insane. I was in the parking lot at a gas station, freaking out by the pump. All the kids are screaming because they think Dad's lost his mind. Jackie's freaking out in the car. And then it was like a mad dash. Like, okay, we got to get a babysitter because we got to go to Orlando. You know what I mean? So
Well,
yeah,
how much time was there in between that email and the Orlando event?
week and a half. It was like
Oh
boom, boom.
wow.
Yeah, it was like boom, boom, boom. Like if you like, I mean, it didn't make sense. It did not make sense. But that year too, like they pulled the GBWC thing into the card event, and they made it kind of into a spectacle. And I was like, oh, cool! Like Bandai's like starting to take the United States competition side of this a little more seriously and going to make it a little more cool for the modelers and competitors. And then this year they didn't really do that at all. So I don't know what's going on. That's very strange because the builders this year, like their builds are incredible, and there was like it was kind of like a fart in the wind
Yeah,
on
it
social
was very
media. It's like,
abrupt. Yeah, it was just like,
yeah,
oh
it's like,
yeah,
oh,
Yeah.
here's your champs.
it's like, oh, here's the winners. Okay, bye. Like they're your winners. All right,
Yeah.
that's it.
So it's a massive shame because like it felt amazing to get to go to Orlando, walk out onto a stage, um, meet the presenters, have my moment like that. It made everything worth it. All the time and effort and everything, it made it so worth it. Um, and then the guys this year, I did notice they got their trophies really fast, so that's cool. They must have had those suckers in
Mhm.
the mail, because they got them like maybe like a couple days. I can't speak for them, but they made their posts pretty fast after they found out.
Almost seems like
Um,
a
Yeah.
week and a half or something. It's not.
Yeah,
yeah,
like this past week, a couple of them posted, their trophies.
yeah.
Um, and I was trying to look for second and third place for your year, Dan, and I couldn't even find them on the website, so I wasn't sure who else
Oh,
placed.
I haven't looked at the website in a long time. I don't even know if mine's still on there or not. But yeah, there was the two other builds were really good. Uh, I mean, I don't know. So, and that's another problem with the way they do things in the U.S. is there's no score sheet. We don't know how well or how close the other builds were, but they were really good. So again, I am very humble about the fact that I went to Japan. Like, there's no like, and I think anybody that gets to go to Japan to represent our country should be humble about it because you had to beat out so many amazing, talented builders to get there. Um, but yeah, this year we got Builder Pen with that amazing dragon.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. And then George did that really cool dio. And the cool thing about that dio, and it's hard to see in the pictures, but I've seen other pictures of it where, like, there's the building has like a dio inside of it. So there's like a
Hmm.
dio and then a dio. And then
Yeah, you got like a window. There's like a window that you can see inside
yeah, it's so cool.
And there's
from
like
the top
another
of it.
So
mobile
like
suit or something too, right? That's like getting worked on as well, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like just super cool builds this year. I think
Yeah.
you know Builder Pen's build it has the aesthetic that Bandai I think gravitates towards, where there's just an abundance of kit bashing. They really like kit
Mm.
bashing. However, the year that I went, Ryan Lau's simplistic representation of the grandpa, they made mention of it on the stage. They're like, usually we don't see kits do this well that are so quote unquote simple. There's nothing simple about that kit,
Mm.
but in that it's
Hmm.
just a single mobile suit, right? So, but yeah, Builder Pen definitely. I of course rah rah America. I want him to win so bad. That would be so cool. Even place, because the U.S. hasn't even placed
Totally.
yet. So yeah, I I hope nothing but the most best for that guy. And his story is great too. Like he's been working really hard for this. So yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I think anybody who's on the internet and looking at Gundam anything knows about that build,
Mhm.
and he's been awesome about posting like his in progress photos and things like that
Yeah.
too. And so yeah, I think he's got a really strong chance personally.
Yeah.
I mean, international competition is always challenging. You're getting the best of the best.
Oh man, have you
Um,
looked at the builds that are on there from the other countries?
a few, yeah, a few.
They're every year, but this year it's like every year it feels like, oh, okay, they can't get any better than this, but then the next year there's really crazy builds. So I don't know, but yeah,
Hmm.
I'm rooting for Builder Pen. I think he's got a good shot to place, definitely.
Yeah, and there's something about I think about Ryan's build, I think about your build, I think about Builder Pan's build that a lot of these dioramas start to become very visually complex very quickly, but there is like such attention to focus. I think about Ryan specifically. It's such a simple suit, but like it's composed in a way that's so focused, and it's like so the vision is so crystal clear, and there's nothing distracting from that vision.
Yeah,
I think there's something really powerful about that.
yeah,
In spite of the fact that it's not like thousands of pieces or painted in any super
yeah.
artistic way or anything like that.
That's a really good
Yeah.
point. Builder Pen's build has it's very visually easy to digest. Um, some of the super complex builds really only for me like uh, materialize when you see them in person. Um, like in Japan, there was some of those builds there that were just hyper complex and it was just layer on layer on layer. And you can look at those pictures all day, but you can't really tell what's happening. But when I was in Japan and I saw them in person, I was like, okay, this is
Mm.
crazy. Like this person did so much stuff to this thing to get it to look like this. But like you're saying, the simplicity of or the quote unquote simplicity of the presentation, yeah, definitely lends itself to the what you end up with at the GBWC level.
Are you hoping to get back there?
I mean, so I'm a collector. I would like to figure out. I would love to. I'm going to do another build this next year. I've got one planned, um, or this year. But I would like to get a second and third place trophy. I would like to have all the colors. Um, so how do you aim for that? That's tough. How do you aim for second or third? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, for sure, everybody who's competing at that level wants to win again and go again. But I do feel like I had my build. I I'm so proud of it, and I got my experience. I feel like I tasted the rainbow, and I'm very satisfied. I'm going to compete again, and I continue to compete in competitions on the West Coast and hopefully on the East Coast this year. But yeah, I'm very satisfied and happy with my gunpla journey so far. I have no aspirations to do anything crazy. If it happens, it
I mean,
happens. But otherwise, yeah,
yeah, I think anybody in your shoes would be so incredibly proud to have accomplished what you've accomplished. But I definitely resonate with something you said earlier about just entering every competition assuming you lose. I think that's like the mentality that I tend to take.
yeah,
Especially with things like GBWC or even just local competitions, when it comes to judging or evaluation, like you never really know what's going through like a judge's head, and so it's just impossible to like yeah, I think you're just setting yourself up for disappointment a lot of times if you're going in thinking you're going to win or expecting to win.
yeah.
um but yeah, it's always
And
nice to win.
for sure, every competition I've been to too, and it's been from the highest level to local comps. There's what I call shenanigans. There's something strange about the judging, or something doesn't feel quite right, or that happens at every show. In maybe not my category, maybe someone else's category. So the sooner you can wrap your head around the idea of like once your kit's on the table, it's out of your hands, and wherever the dice fall, that's how it's going to be. The healthier you'll be mentally, because these, you don't know what's going through the judges' heads. You don't know what they're aesthetically looking for that particular day. You don't know how yours stacks up compared to everybody else's on the table. And I mean, these comps, you go to the bigger ones, the the craftsmanship and the level that they're at is high. So you are swimming in a big pond when you're going to the bigger shows like SCGMC, for instance, or Seattle IPMS. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I just really appreciate you coming in and just sharing your thought process and sharing your experience. Josh, do you have any last thoughts?
No, I think you guys really, especially Dan, hit the nail on the head with that. So I think for all you there listening, definitely take some notes and some thoughts on how to approach competitions and just got to get a bit of a grasp, especially if you're someone that maybe struggles with perhaps maybe putting their self-esteem into a competition. Because I know myself and some other people, they've done that where you kind of tend to lose yourself when you try to compete, and so just don't put so much value into that and put more value back into why you're doing what you're doing, and you'll do just fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. My finishing advice too would be like what Josh was saying is like lean on your friends. Focus on your like be kind to yourself in failure. Because in failure or like not placing, there's so many opportunities at these shows that you go to learn so much. Even if you don't talk to anybody, like if you are socially, you have issues like you're get anxiety about talking to people, just look and soak in detail. Because even if you don't place, you're surrounded by people that know things you don't, and I don't know nearly as much as anybody else does too. So like I'm constantly absorbing and sponging up from everybody around me. Like Josh is a big one for me. He continues to be an inspiration for me as far as his creativity, his craftsmanship, his work ethic is kind of crazy. I would say tone that down a little bit, but otherwise, he's a he's definitely a good person to look up to as far as builds go. Personal life,
For
not so
sure.
much.
Agreed.
Yeah, just having that attitude of learning. And I've never been to a show where I've walked up to a builder and asked, like, "Hey, I really like your build. How do you do that?" I've never had anyone tell me to like piss off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think people are proud of their work and love to talk about it, and just don't be afraid to ask. You know. And I've learned so much from just the people that I've met. I've made so many friends from these different shows. I think I would encourage anybody, even if you're just spectating or if you're bringing something to enter, just talk to people. Don't be afraid.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
for sure.
And come join our
Um,
club. Come join the WCGA.
there
There's
you go.
there's crazy builders in there that are doing crazy things, and they're just hanging out with everybody. Like we're all friends there. So if you have questions or anything like that, it's a good place to get them answered.
Yeah. How do people find WCGA?
That's a good question. In my bio, there's a link to the club you can join. So if you just search at DanzerDragoon on Instagram and go to my bio, there's a link there. I think at this point you can just type in WCGA or West Coast Gunpla Alliance into a Google search, and you can find our Discord that way. But yeah, that's probably the best way. Just go to my bio and join up there. Just wait for
Yeah.
it.
And you guys do an episode every week on YouTube?
We try. Yeah, it's been tough with sicknesses going around and holidays and stuff. But yes, we are on episode 37 right now of the WCGA podcast. So in it, and if you join the club and you throw your builds in there, we will talk about your builds. And it's always positive stuff. We've definitely put out as much positive vibe within our club as we can. We don't like to do you know negative stuff too much unless
For
you
sure.
ask for it, like Cobra.
And y'all post you guys try to post on Mondays, is that right?
Yeah. Well, I'm the producer and editor of every episode, and to be honest with you, we're using a service right now that's not that great for our podcasts. I might ask you about this one when we're done here, but a lot of it's technical. The technical side, things get slowed up a little bit. But yes, we try to post by Monday. We record on Saturday, and we try to post by Monday. So yeah.
All right, very cool. Before we wrap up, I like to give all of our guests some quick hitter questions.
Let's
So
do it.
I'm gonna throw them at you, and you can answer however you want.
Okay.
So first one, all-time favorite kit that you've built.
Me first.
Oh, just Dan. Yeah, we heard Josh's already.
Oh,
So
okay. All-time favorite kit. The Perfect Grade GPO1.
oh, that's my grill kit, and I'm just waiting for them to re-release it.
Yeah, it's like 3 kits. You get so many kits. 4 kits. You get 2 core fighters, a big old frame thing to put all of the armor pieces. You get 2 sets of armor. It's crazy. Yeah, that's definitely favorite.
Um, what's the Grail kit for you? Whether you own it or not.
There's a I don't even I kind of don't want to say what it is because I know there's a limited quantity out there, and I was very close to buying one this week.
Okay. Well, we
But I will
won't have
say
to. We won't talk. You don't have to answer. You can pass.
no. No. I'll say my favorite mobile suit of all time is the O. From Zeta, and you can take that wherever you want. But yes, there's a kit out there that I want of the O, and haven't picked it up yet, but hopefully someday.
What are you usually watching or listening to while you build?
I listen to podcasts mostly. I listen to the Undergated Network podcast when I build. That's like my go-to. Shout out to those guys. Undergated Network. If not that, I watch stuff like Friends or Seinfeld. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
and then occasionally I watch some Gundam stuff to stay cool and relevant. But yeah, it's like TV shows. Lots of dialogue-heavy shows. Those are good for me.
Nice. Uh, how many kits in your backlog?
I mean, oh, not good. I think like 250,
Nice.
260
Wow.
maybe. Oh,
Very cool.
and it's not high grades, guys. It's big stuff. Yeah.
If you had the choice, would you have one 1,000 piece kit or 10 100-piece kits?
1,000 piece kit. Yeah. I love details.
If you had a signature color, what would that be?
Blue. Love blue.
Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
I mean,
Is it
so,
like a
so like,
particular
okay,
shade?
specific, yeah. Like the ocean Caribbean blue ocean color. Yeah, it's super calming to my soul.
Very cool. What's your favorite tool on the workbench?
It's gonna have to be God hands, God hand nippers all day.
Classic.
I mean, you can substitute, you can imitate, but you cannot replace the good old God hands. I have the same pair I've had for 3 years. No dings, no dents, no breakages. So yeah, God hands. Get a pair.
Yeah. Always worth the investment.
Yeah.
Is there a builder that you can think of that deserves more love or is like way better than you think their follower count is?
Chris Amisu. Hands down. I think he just goes by Chris Amisu on Instagram. He's the guy that basically inspired me to start painting and do LED works. I don't know how many followers he has on Instagram, but I know for sure he doesn't have as much recognition as he deserves. And on top of his incredible work, have you guys I know Josh has seen it, but have you seen it, Ricky? His stuff in our Discord?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Okay.
totally. And
Um,
he's a PNW local too, right?
yeah. But not only is his
Yeah.
stuff like top notch amazing, but he's an incredibly nice guy. Like so stinking nice. and he will handhold and walk you through every single step of his process. So yeah, he deserves all the attention in the world.
Very cool. Who should we get on the podcast next? And the twist is you have to help me get them to record.
Okay. I mean, Ryan Lau. He's probably the biggest celebrity that I know. Do you want me to see if I can get Ryan Lau on here?
I would love to have Ryan on an episode. Absolutely.
Yeah, these are great questions, by the way. I love the rapid fire.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I will reach out to him. See what he says.
Man. Yeah, that would be so cool. I would geek out. And what's something that's got you excited this week?
Oh man. Something that's got me excited. I have a lot of stuff coming in that I've ordered. Purchases that I've made, model kits that I shouldn't have, but I'm excited to add to my backlog. So I'm excited.
Those Black Friday deals.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the packages rolling in. I picked up that. Oh gosh, I bought so much stuff. That Golden Warrior was on sale.
Mine's out for delivery today.
Yeah, me too. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
That's coming. I'm gonna pop the box open on that and check it out. There's a guy, Never Waffle Chris, in the Discord that built one. He really liked it. So, yeah. Yep. I'm excited for
All
that.
right.
I will say one last
Very
thing.
cool. Yeah.
I think you should also have Lang on here, Skyfire Riser. Not just because he's a good builder and a good painter, but because he's a personality, and he would be fun for you to talk to. So he would do it.
Awesome, man. Yeah. All right, sounds good. Well, Dan, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. This was super fun.
Yeah. And Josh, thanks for being here too. I want to thank Dan and Josh again for recording with me. You can find Josh at cobraplamo on Instagram, and you can find Dan at DanzerDragoon. And of course, I would encourage you to check out his West Coast Gunpla Alliance WCGA Discord server and YouTube podcast. You can find the links in the description below. This has been Newtype Notebook, part of the Undergated Podcast Network. Thanks for listening and happy building. Newtype Notebook has an official sponsor, and that's Splash Paints. Splash makes up 80 or 90% of my paint collection. That's great, ready to spray airbrush lacquer paints made in Oregon. Super smooth, great coverage, super durable. They have everything you could need to bring your model to the next level. Primers, mecha colors, including the classic Evangelion colors, military colors, metallics, not to mention hundreds of car colors. I personally love using the military colors in my mecha builds just to give them a real-world sensibility. The Candy Red and 2K Clear were my secret weapons for my RE100 Nightingale. And I won't use any other paint brands for my 124 scale car kits. You can order Splash Paints direct from splash-paints.com. Splash will be giving away paints to a lucky Newtype Notebook listener for every episode of this season. Keep an eye on the Undergated Network Instagram for more details.